Welcome to another Hood County Judges Report. Here with Daryl Cockerham. I'm Kevin Myers with Granbury TV, and we do this as an every 2-week show, and we'll bring you up to date on what the latest and greatest is. Judges, we tape these things during the week, and then they play. And this morning is Thursday morning, June the 20th. And guess what? Last night it rained a little bit, Judge.
We got 7/10 at our house.
7/10 of rain last night, and we've had a couple rain events this week, and every drop of it's been nice. I have noticed some of it's gone around Granbury. We'd like to get it all, but we'll take what we can get and hope for more. But with rain, sometimes causes things that you've got in process to get held up, and in our case, that's Loop 567 opening has, I think, somewhat been delayed by the rain. What can you tell us about the latest on Loop 567?
From what I hear, it is being delayed because of that, and the striping, the striping of the highways and things like that has got to be done before they can open it up, and so we're hoping that it'll be within the next week or two before, when they get that open. Of course, we were supposed to already be open, but I guess these little rains along just have delayed that. So I guess 6 months ago we were 2 months ahead, and now we're a month behind or something. So, but it's moving along, and I see people out there working. I know the strip in front of on 377 Business that goes down past the courthouse. They've got it all nice and it's smooth and great. So we hope that other loop is just the same.
Well, and I know most of us common people that drive around Granbury. In other words, most of my driving is in on 377 or out 51 north going to Weatherford. We see basically the same thing we've seen for quite a while, but as I understand it from one of my friends that lives in Peninsula, they're actually riding on portions of the road already.
That's right. Part of that road, and I can't remember the name of it now, where they come out of Peninsula and there's a turn that has to get on that, and then you can turn it. The loop replaced a portion of their road that they get out of, exit their subdivision. So yeah.
And talking about the peninsula itself, which is a community out there in that loop area, I was watching the replay of the County Commissioner's Court and saw that Don Walton was on there, and he was talking about that they are changing the name of the community of Brazos Bend to Stockton Bend.
Right. When they wanted it to go back to the original kind of community name to be historically correct, and that really he came and talked to us about that, and I told him, well, really, Don, we don't really have anything to do with it. That's because you're a city. That's between you and the state. And but I said, if you want to come and present it to us as just a matter of courtesy, that'd be great. And so he did. And yeah, but they are changing it. You're right.
And so there'll be a bunch of maps out there that need to get. I guess Don may be in cahoots with the map business. So
maybe. No, I doubt that. I think he's just interested in the historical accuracy of it.
Yes, absolutely. Well, also along the same lines with new construction and those kind of things, Judge, you guys have gotten final approval for the construction of the new Emergency Operations Center. Can I say / data center as well? Is that right?
That's right. IT will be located there, and the reason that it will be located there is because if we have a kind of a disaster like we had out at Rancho Brazos, the IT needs to be able to support the EOC.
Absolutely.
And what we did is we went to the city and got some exceptions on their building code, because what the EOC really needs to be a hardened structure. It's not like you're building an office building or you're building a restaurant or something like that. We need to have something that when strong winds hit it, they'll be able to stand up. And not that it's not going to be aesthetically pleasing to the eye, but it just needs to be a more hardened structure than a normal building, because it has to be up and running when we have an emergency. So We had got a few exceptions. I think 3 passed the other night. And so that's well under the way. We're going out for bids within the next couple of weeks for putting it out for construction bids. And of course, it came in at a little bit more money than what I had anticipated. We are running on about a $712,000 grant that we got from the federal government to do this, but it's going to cost about $1,500,000 to $1,600,000 or something like that to do it. So we're going to have to kick in maybe another $1,000,000 to get this done. Now people say, well, isn't that because of the power plant? Well, we do drill for the power plant, but Johnson County just did one. Every county should have an EOC. I mean, it's just mandated that the county judge is the emergency management director for the county. Consequently, he has to manage all of those disasters, just like what happened out at Rancho Brazos. But it just needs to be done because the power plant didn't blow up. We had a tornado. So we have other emergencies. We're probably going to have a lot more emergencies that are not power plant related.
Yeah,
So,
and when you have a good functioning operations center like that, it can be used for, it does not have to be an end of the world type event. It can be a smaller scale thing. One of the risks that we have here in north central Texas, as many of you know, is severe long-term cold weather where we have icing on roads and those kind of things. And those events test the resources of our county as much or as anything else do, because we have to shut down roads and we have to sand roads and everything else that have to happen. And just having a good solid place where everybody knows this is where I go if I am a person that makes decisions when it comes to emergency operations, then it makes everything run that much better. My counterpart that works for the county, Jackie Solomon, who's the IT director for the county, he's certainly very proud of the work that you guys have put into designing this facility, and it's going to be very nice. And one thing that a lot of people don't understand about the business that I'm in, which is IT, is we may spend money for a particular thing, emergency operations center or whatever, but when we put that data center in there, it has such an impact on just the regular day-to-day operations of everything that you do. I myself am in the middle of replacing a server at the hospital that's going to make everything run faster and all that other stuff. I mean, it's just something that you've got to do to keep everybody working.
That's true.
So it's for my part, I know it's money well spent. Sometimes people don't understand what we do in the IT business. But
look what happened down in up at PK or in Palo Pinto County when they had all those fires. Look down in Bastrop County. You mentioned cold weather. Well, we're going to probably, the western part of the county is heavily wooded. If we had a fire like that out there, we would have to use the EOC to coordinate all the activities of the state and the federal government coming in. So it's definitely a needed thing.
Yeah. Judge, other buildings that you guys are talking about moving, and we talk about these things because they're long-term projects. They're things that people can get excited about and say, hey, look what we're doing. We're bringing on new buildings. We're doing new things. One I know that's always been on your mind and now is getting more traction than it was, which is animal control.
Right. Well, the same architect has designed a new animal control facility, and actually it's coming in at lower than I thought it would. We had talked to some of the people over in the Metroplex, and we had asked them, said, well, what does this cost you per square foot? And one of them said, like, $240. I said, oh my God, that's a tremendous amount of money. But ours is coming in way under that. And right now, the one that they have was never designed to be an animal control. It's just a building, and it has to be replaced. It's too small for a county of our size. we're going to be mandated if we get another probably 25,000 people, and that's going to happen within the next 10 or 15 years. We're growing, still building houses like crazy. So, we're going to grow. We're going to be mandated. So let's do it while things are a little cheaper, rather than wait and have all that fall up on our back. So.
Yeah, and Judge, you're gonna be small, in this new animal control facility, you'll be doing small animal and large animal there at one location, or are you gonna split the two up?
Well, it won't be in the same building, but it'll be at the same location. It'll be, the large animals will be out behind that building in another, building. But it'll be like for horses and cattle and think maybe llamas or whatever it gets out, So.
Well, and we have all those things.
We do.
I had an emu showed up in my yard one day.
But, people just turned those emus loose when the market went south. They just said, well, I don't want to feed it anymore. And they were wandering all over the country. People would see them. So.
Well, and the other construction project that the county has their hands in, maybe not total control of, but they got their hands in, and that's the YMCA.
That's true. The county voted to build a new $10 million YMCA building, and they approved to put in 2 cents on tax to pay for that. Well, what happened is when we got into that, let me explain to you a little bit how county government, I'm sure you know it, counties, schools, and cities cannot give away anything. So consequently, when you get the school trying to donate the land to build it, they said, well, we got to have something back for that land. And then the county says, well, yeah, we have to have something back too. We can't, but under the law, it's just not, it doesn't make any difference what you and I want or the people want. It's what the law says. If you have a problem with that, you need to go to Austin and get it changed. But so consequently, the school said, well, we need some kind of a reversion clause in there. In other words, if something happens, that land will come back to us. Our attorneys want that. Well, our people are selling their bonds said, wait a minute, you'll never be able to sell a bond on this if the land could go back. So they would just be hanging out there, with the, nothing back in the money. So consequently, we just had to work through all of that and, some kind of a lease purchase agreement and da-da-da. It just gets real complicated. Luckily, we have a county commissioner, Jeff Todd, who's an attorney, and he's wading through all of that with that because sometimes it just gets way up here above a layman's head, so. But, I do understand your IT department.
That's right, Judge. Well, but, I guess, the brass tacks that the people would want to know is, what is your new sort of not to lock you down too much, but semi-projected date on putting a shovel in the ground on the YMCA?
Well, that's a good question because we're really close on the agreement. And then what we have to do is we have to go out and sell the bonds and get the money so we could start construction. What I would like to do is do it in a couple of phases, maybe sell $7 million, at first, and then get to construction, and then the next year sell maybe another 3 or something like that. Because if we can keep it under 10 million, we can do bank financing, and we don't necessarily have to pay a higher interest rate. We borrowed $2.5 million for 1.17%, and that's low. That's low. Now we do that. We borrow that for capital improvements. We do that to buy new police cars. We do that to buy new road equipment for the county roads, and so we have to do that every year or two just to keep county functioning. But that's long-term debt that, those cars are going to last multiple years, so we can finance them over multiple years. So, yeah, if we can do that, probably the interest rate's up to 2.25 or something like that from 1.17, but still it's pretty cheap.
Judge, one of the construction projects that you were able to get done last year was the remodeling of the courthouse.
That's true.
And now you've been able to utilize it for several different things. I know the latest thing is that you were using it, it gave you the opportunity to give a place for federal government
That's right.
loan assistance thing for, and how did that go? Did a lot of people take advantage
You
of
know,
that?
I don't think really a lot of people, but some did. Yes, some people went in and made a application for Small Business Administration loans, SBA, and that's what was in there, the SBA. And it's part of FEMA. It's part of, you know, I know Congressman Conaway said, "I'm sorry FEMA couldn't help." And I said, don't worry about that. You know, we just, you have to have like $33 or $34 million worth of non-residential damage to qualify. And of course, it hit mostly a residential area, so we just didn't qualify for FEMA aid. But I think most of the people that can qualify have been helped, and they're working really.
But you're also using it for things I guess you probably never intended to in the first place, and that is Granbury Theater Company is actually using it for the 1776 play, and that's going to continue this year.
That's right. They're matter of fact, they've already had one performance or one weekend's worth of performances, and they're going to be back this weekend, and it'll run all the way through, I think, the 6th or something like that, July 6th.
Wow.
On the weekends.
I know myself. My daughter and I went down when Channel 8 was here on the square, and you know, where they were right there in front of the courthouse and all those other things. And I said, you know, I need to use the restroom, so I'm going to go right there in the courthouse.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's very handy and those kind of things. And with the 4th of July coming up and those kind of things, are you going to leave access to the restrooms and those kind of things open during the 4th of July thing, or what? How does that work for
No,
you?
it'll be closed, and the main thing it's closed is because, unfortunately, in today's world, you'd have to have security,
Yes.
and then we would have to. It
You're right.
would be a cost to do that. So we're you know, there's other public restrooms that are available in and around the square. There's some over behind, you know, where the Opera House was, and there's some down by the old jail, and I think there's some down by the park. So, you know, but the courthouse will not be open, and it's strictly a cost factor.
And Judge, you know, 4th of July is coming, and that's on going to be on a Thursday, the 4th itself. What are your plans for county operations as far as who's working and who's not during that particular week?
Well, the problem came again because there are going to be people, as you know, all around the square, vendors and things selling whatever they sell, and so the county is going to be closed the 4th, 4th and 5th, that Thursday and Friday.
Okay.
And so the commissioners voted to close it for Friday.
All right, and that is
Whole county.
all county operations.
county
will
offices,
we
yeah.
close on Thursday and Friday. Well, that's fantastic. They certainly deserve to enjoy the 4th of July festivities and along with everybody else. Last thing, Judge, you know, I've looked at the Hood County News this yesterday, and that was a very striking picture that was on there of this boat hanging in the air with not even a drop of water in sight. Not that it wasn't under the boat, it was not even in sight there. You know, again, we've had some rain over this week, and certainly very grateful for what rain that we have gotten. And it's fantastic for, you know, greening up my grass in front of my house. Now I've got to cut the grass, but it has not replenished our lake as we would have liked to have seen.
It's up maybe a couple of inches this morning from yesterday. The way those pylons where the old railroad bridge was down low, 2 of them are now out of the water, but one of them is not out as much as it was. So, and I noticed that island out there is a little smaller. So, but it's still not enough. It's still, no, we need a lot more water. Probably a good 10-inch rain would, up above us, would help to get some of that water flowing down here. But I know the Lake Granbury Waterfront Homeowners Association is working hard to get that done. The county has given some money to the EDC for them to contract and get an economic impact study done on this. And I think the waterfront people are working on an environmental study too, to show, to kind of tell what the impact of low lake levels has, because I noticed that I get reports the coliform count is way up because the lake is down. And but you know, economic impact, what's it costing us? I noticed there's things been in the paper about, you know, my boat sales are down, you know, tourism is down. People are saying, I was out at Harbor Lakes the other day, and I met a guy, and I said, I've never met you. He said, well, I'm a charter member out here. He said, but I live in Irvin. He said, I come over here, I have a weekend house. He said, but you won't be seeing me anymore. I said, why? He said, because, he said, we can't get on the lake.
Yeah.
We just can't get on the lake. And he said, there's no reason for me to come over here. He said, I have a business and a home over in Irvin. He said, I have a weekend home here. I used to come every weekend. I'm a member of the club. He said, but I'm out of here. And, you know, that's sad to hear, you know, because they went out to eat. They supported the local restaurants. That's going to hurt, you know, it just spreads out when, you know, when you're taking, if there was 50 families like that, then you've lost all those people eating out, so, and spending money, so.
And the trickle down effect, it's hard to actually put a number to the trickle down effect, but
Right.
but it's there. We know it's there. We know it exists.
Your gas stations, you know, everybody's going to be hurt. The people they employ, you know, and then the people that the employees buy from. I mean, it's just, you're right. You can't put a number on it, but hopefully this economic impact study will give us some of those figures.
But Judge, am I correct in informing the people that the most immediate impact to the lake level that we're going to see is rain?
Right.
I mean, anything else that's going to happen, it will be very long-term in nature and you know, may not happen tomorrow. If it rains, the lake's going to come up.
It will come up. Of course, the more rain, the better. The thing that people are saying is that maybe BRA could have, you know, changed some of their management. I don't know that. I don't know how they work. I'm not saying that they're the fault. I'm just saying, you know, a lot of people are saying that.
Yeah.
But you know, rain will help. You know, and that helped yesterday. So.
Well, good. We always appreciate our time with the county judge, Judge Cockerham. I'm Kevin Myers with Granbury TV, and catch us again in 2 weeks with a new county judge's report. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.